Diddy's trial revealed some absolutely jaw-dropping stuff. Some of it we'd heard for years, but finally got confirmed. Others were way worse than anyone imagined. Today, we're diving into the dark and shocking secrets that came out during Diddy's trial.
The reason the feds didn't present a lot of stuff that would have made sure that he was gone forever, rather than just being gone to November. And it's not going to be November. See, that sentencing is coming. Maybe that's really the problem. Maybe that's why people got so much to say about whistleblowers and truth tellers. Maybe y'all need to find a way to drag us all the way down and to drag us all the way to filthy. You think that that's going to be the thing that springs the diddler from the pigeon coop he's being held in. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. After October 3rd, there's going to be a lot of people who's going to be quaking in their boots. There's going to be a lot of knees knocking. Because the longer he has to stay in there, people are going to wonder, how long is it going to be before he turns into his dear old dad and just starts snitching on?
Let's talk about the first bombshell that blew the courtroom wide open. One of Diddy's ex-bodyguards dropped a shocking claim. He said he personally saw Diddy sit with $100,000 in cash to buy and destroy a USB drive. That drive allegedly held hotel security footage of him and Cassie on a very dark night. The bodyguard swore he watched Diddy count every dollar to make sure the deal was sealed. But even after the payout, the clip didn't stay hidden. It came back years later and is now a key part of the case. Jurors reportedly leaned forward when this came up, sensing this could be powerful evidence. But Jaguar Wright insists most of the evidence never even reached the courtroom.
Of people in the Shluminati is to pretend like none of it's real, to pretend like none of it happens, to keep the secret, to make it all seem like, oh no, that's not happening, that's not happening, that's not happening. Isn't that exactly what's happening now?
Sorry.
HSI runs up onto multiple properties, and they collected all kinds of things that never made it to that courtroom, did it? Not one mention of a firearm, not one mention, even though some of the testimony said that he carried firearm. The way Kid Cudi's car, the way that whole situation happened, I mean, it was on court document. People were sitting there talking about it, and they still trying to act like that.
The case looked so strong that even a Homeland Security agent ended up testifying against Diddy.
A security agent that raided Diddy's Miami house is testifying against him. He didn't get a lot of time on the stand today because court is about to end, but we will go ahead and talk about what he said, and then I will add these parts into his full testimony tomorrow. They asked this Homeland Security agent what time they raided Diddy's Miami home, and they said after 3 p.m. They said, why did you raid it so late? And they said, because we were tipped off that Diddy and his family were about to leave the country. And I'm sure you guys remember when they raided Diddy's houses, he wasn't there. They actually caught him at the airport getting ready to get on his private jet. And this is when Homeland Security arrested one of Diddy's right-hand men, Paul, for narcotic offenses. Then they asked this Homeland Security agent what they all found at Diddy's Miami property. And he talked about the weapons with defaced serial numbers being loaded and all of that information. He also said he found toys, if you get what I mean, and he also found
Kid Cudi's testimony completely froze the courtroom. He revealed that his friendship with Cassie set off a chain reaction way bigger than music beef. First, his beloved custom Porsche mysteriously blew up in his driveway after someone hurled a Molotov cocktail. Cudi said the image of those flames is burned into his memory. And that wasn't the end of it. He claimed Diddy even broke into his home, trashed his wrapped Christmas gifts, and left the place in chaos. He admitted he was terrified to testify, knowing Diddy had a reputation for violent retaliation.
Every minute of it, like I did not want to do it. But then I thought about, when I was up there, I'm here to support Cassie. And, Cassie is my friend, and I love her and I want to see her do well. When I saw her get married, I was so happy for her, you know, that she found someone, her person. When I saw that she was having kids, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I've always just wanted to see her, you know, thrive and do well and be happy, you know, because I know she was living a nightmare, and I just was there to support her. That's what kind of gave me peace with it when I sat down in that chair. It was just about, damn, I don't want to do this, to being like, oh man, I gotta like hold homegirl down and like.
According to Cody, none of this was random. It was all meant as a warning.
It was crazy, man. Like, you know, man, in the moment, it was just crazy. Like, I had a hard time understanding if it was reality. Like, I was like, am I in a movie? What the is going on? But it was, you know, just chaotic and intense. And you know, I wasn't like I was already out of my mind dealing with my own personal. So, I was really just like, okay, you know, like, I just was willing to walk into the fire, and so it was just I always thought about it before all this stuff happened and it came out again. I just, over the years, I just thought about it as like just some wild that happened in my rock and roll life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, you know, it's just some crazy shit.
Imagine being at the peak of your career and suddenly facing chaos like this. The jurors weren't just listening, they were stunned, because this wasn't gossip anymore. These were sworn statements under oath. Then came another jaw-dropping moment from Capricorn Clark, who worked closely with Diddy during the Cassie era.
Today in the federal trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, and today one of the Combs' former assistants took the stand.
Okay, Fox 5's Lisa Evers was inside the courtroom, and Lisa, it was another day of intense testimony.
It was definitely intense testimony, Natasha and Steve. Former Diddy aide Capricorn Clark was on the stand, talking about violence she witnessed, as well as the hardship that she endured after she was fired by Combs in 2012. She broke down in tears when she recalled how she dedicated her life to Sean Diddy Combs and considered herself a type.
On the stand, she described a terrifying moment that made her fear for her life. She testified that Diddy forced her into a car at gunpoint because she hadn't told him Cassie and Kid Cudi were hanging out. Clark claimed Diddy told her straight up they were going to kill Cudi that night. And as she went deeper into her story, things got even darker.
This might just get even crazier than Diddy being charged with the kidnapping of Capricorn Clark. Diddy's fourth victim is a female who is a prior employee and actually a former assistant of Diddy. Now, this former assistant is going by the name Mia as her pseudonym, and they asked Cassie Ventura if she knew this person, and she said yes, this is one of Diddy's former assistants. And we know Capricorn Clark is one of the female former assistants that used to work for Diddy back when Diddy was with Cassie. And even Cassie's mom confirmed that she knew who Mia was, the former assistant. And it doesn't end there. They asked one more person if they knew this assistant named Mia, and it was Dawn Burchard. Guess who was the former assistant still at that time during Danity Kane? It was Capricorn Clark. So not only is Diddy being hammered right now on the RICO because the arson connected to Kid Cudi and the break-in of Kid Cudi's home is connected to a kidnapping. Both the arson and the kidnapping fall underneath that RICO charge. But I also think victim number 4 is gonna be Capricorn.
She said that ride felt like the longest of her life. terrified of what might happen next. The trial even dragged the legendary Prince into the story. Cassie's former assistant testified that one night she and Cassie snuck into Prince's private home to watch him perform. What should have been a magical night turned into a nightmare for all the wrong reasons. She claimed Diddy lost it outside and started raging. Things got so loud that Prince's own security reportedly had to step in to stop it. Just think about that, at Prince's house, with music legends everywhere. Security had to break things up. Now imagine being stuck on a private jet, thousands of feet in the air, with no escape. That's exactly what one of Diddy's former assistants described. On the stand, he said he saw a heated blow-up According to him, Diddy clutched a glass of whiskey while Cassie shouted, "Isn't anybody seeing this?" The assistant claimed the crew just froze, refusing to step in, leaving Cassie to face it alone. Jaguar Wright later explained how Diddy got away with it. The culture of violence in the industry is just that deep.
Go to Diddy parties, which is where people like me step in. To walk mother out! Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. Why would they talk about it? Who is there to go to? Who's gonna help them? What HR department do you know of that works for any of these labels?
Yeah.
When have you ever heard of a sexual harassment suit being publicly acknowledged in the entertainment industry at all? Never. Not in entertainment.
Tupac. Remember that one?
He was the only one.
Yeah.
You saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
No, guilty.
That's why they do it. To make you an example. To remind you what they're willing to do to keep things the way they want them. It's intimidation. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case.
If this trial didn't already feel like a Hollywood thriller, the Suge Knight chapter took it there. A former assistant testified that a late-night stop at a Los Angeles diner in 2008 nearly sparked a whole new East Coast-West Coast feud.
Go on for so long. You know, when we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, he's going to run, he's not. It's the reason why these type of people get caught up. They always assume they're bigger than the law because they're part of the law, you know? And as you know, all these people get
testified that when Diddy saw Suge Knight nearby, he panicked and bolted back to his car. According to her, he grabbed not one, but 3 guns, ready for what he thought might turn into a deadly showdown. Thankfully, nothing went down, but the very thought of that moment exploding into violence had the whole courtroom buzzing. For many, it brought back memories of the bitter history between Diddy and Suge. Gandil even claimed Diddy always resented Suge for getting involved with his baby mama.
Sermon, he was the reason why, Diddy was beating me. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I didn't know that, man. And she was talking to Suge Knight at one point, right?
Oh, yeah. We had just got through, I think, we were looking for Kim. And Kim wasn't home. So if Kim not home, we don't go home. So we jump into club after club after club until Diddy finds her. So then he'll have the babysit call her and find out where she at or whatever, this, that, and the third. And then we would have to go to the club that she at. And he wasn't even, he never stopped dating Kim. No, I don't care who he was with. It could have been with J-Lo. It could have been with whoever. He never stopped dating Kim. Kim couldn't date or be with nobody. She just couldn't. So now, this damn wolf, I guess he was holding this magazine in his pocket or whatever. And it was like a brochure or something like that, but it was Death Row. And it was Suge Knight with Misa. Now, when I told this story, nobody believed that because they don't believe shit I say until it comes out in pictures or videos. It had Suge Knight next to Misa. Suge had the baby Misa had Justin in her arms, and Suge Knight was just like holding Misa, I think like this, holding Misa. It was a friendly picture. But on the bottom capture of it, it said, what the East Coast won't take care of, the West Coast will. Yo, Wolf showed that to Puff. You could see veins coming through his forehead, through his neck and everything. He blew a stat. It was crazy. So, Misha was everything but a child of God. But you gotta realize, Puff wasn't giving her the money that she needed to take care of Justin.
Wright has even backed up Suga's claim that Diddy is a federal informant, pointing out that his own father allegedly worked with the feds to...
Y'all see when they interviewed Dapper Dan about Diddy?
I haven't seen that one. Please.
They ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, I grew up with his parents. He said, and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, but that woman is his aunt.
Whoa. Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers.
One of the most powerful moments came when Cassie's own mother took the stand. She revealed she once tried to confront Diddy face-to-face after he refused to return Cassie's stolen phone. But that wasn't where the story ended.
Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura, which I think was really important here. She corroborated almost, exactly to a T the testimony that Cassie gave regarding Sean Combs's potential and threat to release 2 sex tapes, one on Christmas Day. She also corroborated that she had actually taken pictures and photographs of Cassie's abuse. So that goes a really long way in terms of corroborating and bolstering Cassie's testimony. These are contemporaneous reports to her mother about what had happened. That's really powerful evidence. So much so that the defense didn't even attempt to cross.
The story was after it happened, everyone ran out. Diddy and J-Lo jumps in their car and Diddy has the gun on him and he tries to bribe the driver.
He throws it out and it lands on a guy's car. And then they get pulled over the next precinct up, the Midtown North precinct. And they're brought into the precinct. Now, that's where I heard that Parker might have passed the phone in when they were at that police station. And
because Derek Parker in my interview said that he drove J-Lo and Puffy to the precinct after the shooting.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
Yeah, so he probably drove him from the one precinct there. So anyway, that was an allegation a detective had told me. But yeah, so this guy's sitting in his car and a gun lands on his roof or whatever. And they don't put it together, though, for like a day or so because, I guess the way the guy reported, he reported in a different precinct, whatever happens, but they put it together. They tried to bribe that guy. This female security guard got bribed and she said, I fell on him right after the shooting and I didn't feel a gun against him. I mean, come on, people changed their stories. There was a lot going on with that case. He should have been held accountable for what went on in that club,
Right, because I remember when the police
started the whole thing,
Well, did he start it or... Because I had heard that a bunch of guys were basically confronted Diddy and Shine and said something effective. Yeah, we got money too, and they threw a bunch of money at him or something like that.
Diddy bumps into one of the guys.
Okay.
Doesn't say he's sorry. He's not apologetic. And from there it escalates.
It was over a bump.
Yes.
A shooting over a bump. That's crazy. Shine went to prison for something he shot a gun, I guess, but he didn't actually shoot anybody. So you're saying that if this trial went the way things actually happened, Shine would have potentially not done the prison time that he did?
Well, I think they all would have done time for possession, everything else. But yeah, he kind of took the brunt of it. Yeah, I'll send you the clip. You can throw it in. Yeah, it was these guys put their hearts and souls into that case, only to have it lose control of all their witnesses through intimidation and offers of money and everything else, and and then you can't really prove it, so it was kind of devastating.
She testified that she personally saw the aftermath of Diddy's actions, noticing bruises and marks on her daughter's body. For jurors, that testimony hit hard. This wasn't just friends or co-workers talking anymore. This was Cassie's own mother. Even members of Diddy's music groups took the stand. Dawn Richard, a former member of Danity Kane, told jurors about a disturbing night at Cassie's apartment. She claimed Diddy snapped over something as small as eggs, not cooking fast enough. Richard said he dragged Cassie upstairs while she stood frozen in fear. Hours later, Diddy came back with Cassie, handed them both flowers, and chillingly warned that people go missing when they talk. Her testimony showed how fear and power worked hand in hand and just how far Diddy was willing to go to silence the truth. After all, he had already managed to do exactly that during the Shine trial back in 1999.